everyone, how are you? I can't believe that I just messing with my hair on camera. I hate it when people do that. And here I want to do it again. Okay, I am here to talk to you about something that might be helpful to anybody out there. It is not beauty. Well, it's not technically beauty related, but it kind of is, because this whole thing has made me feel so much better about myself. And when you feel better about yourself, you project that, and it is a beauty thing. So, my ascent into the use of Suboxone. Now, for those of you that don't know what Suboxone is, for the sake of keeping this video somewhat short, go look it up. It's spelled S-U-B-O-X-O-N-E, Suboxone. And this is what it looks like. They come in little transdermal strips. Well, transdermal strips. And you rip them open and put the strip under your tongue and let it melt. And let me tell you why I take these. 16 or so years ago, 20 years, I started having just phantom pains. I was always very athletic in school. I was a track star, the prom queen. Believe it or not, I was a prom queen and homecoming queen and all that stupid stuff. And well, it ain't stupid, it's a good thing to achieve for younger girls. But anyways, I started experiencing pains when I was in high school in track. It got so bad that I had to go have water drained out from under my knees repeatedly. The coaches finally kicked me out, said, you got problems with your knees, you just can't go on, blah, blah, blah. In my early 20s in college, of course, I was in sports again, and that was put on the kibosh for the same reasons, really. I just was having so much problems with my joints and, and that kind of stuff. And so I finally went to the doctors on the insistence of my parents, because I am one of those people that do not go to the doctor unless I am, not breathing. So I finally went to the doctors. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They said that I had just, been too... What they told me back then was that I was too active. That I had just been too hard on my body with sports, in my younger years. And back then, that seemed viable. Of course, now it's like, what? But, back then, that seemed viable. And they put me on Tylenol, what is it, Tylenol 3s, I think. It's like acetaminophen with a little bit of codeine in it or something. They put me on those, and I was on those for about 6 months. And then they bumped them up to what then it was a Lortab 5 milligram. And now, of course, we all know them as Vicodin. And I was on those for 6-7 years, steady. I took about, I think, 180 a month. I took three times a day. And again, this is all what the doctors prescribed me, but never did find out what was wrong with me. Nobody ever did have any kind of diagnosis. They thought that I had fibromyalgia. They thought I had MS. They actually have been through a spinal tap, and all of those tests came back negative for the proper enzymes and stuff in your blood or whatever. And fast forward 6 or so years ago, I've been on painkillers for a long time. I've had surgery on both my shoulders. They're both reconstructed. I've had surgery on my jaw, my eye, and of course every time that those surgeries came about and happened, they'd up my dosage of painkillers to accommodate besides what I was already taking, because when you're on them, anybody that has ever taken painkillers knows that they quit working. They lose their effectiveness just like anything that you ingest. So, or any drug that you ingest, rather. So every time that I have a surgery, they bump my painkillers up, and fast forward, I've been on heavy pain medications for the better part of 16 years. Heavy pain medications. When Landon was born, my grandson, when he was born, I knew that I couldn't, I couldn't keep taking these painkillers like this when I'm going to be getting up at 3 and 6, and I mean, when you're taking care of an infant all of a sudden, when your kids are all grown and gone, I wanted to be a better person for you know, and by this time, all of the hoopla with the painkillers and stuff had come about. So, of course, I'm over here in the corner thinking, I'm a druggie, I'm such a junkie. But, I mean, I've been taking them for years, you know. It was just a matter of habit for me. I don't recall, I never got a high, I never got a buzz, or at least I thought that I didn't. I never saw it that way. I took them legitimately for legitimate reasons. Like a lot of people do. Well, when I was finally diagnosed with lupus, which came about because of a sore on my eye. Now, mind you, I've been to zillions of doctors over the years. They could never figure out what was wrong. I got a sore on my eye. It seemed like a sty that never really came to a head. Never really hurt. It just was a red little bump. Went to a dermatologist. They took a skin sample, and he said, you have lupus. Do you have problems with your bones or your aches and pains? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Well, they sent me in for the proper testing, and lo and behold, after almost 20 years, they finally diagnosed me. And anybody that knows anything about lupus, well, I'm not going to go into it because it's very, very complex. It's when it's kind of like HIV, but it's not contagious. But it's kind of the same concept. Your body attacks itself. That's it. Your body's immune system doesn't work like it should, and instead of fighting off the free radicals, you know, coming into it, it's like it's making your body a free radical. So, anyway, so this dermatologist says you got, you know, in layman's terms, skin lupus. And you should go get checked for, you know, lupus. So I did, and that's what it was. And for me, it was like an awakening. Oh, you know, I finally have a cure. Well, no, there's no cure. There's no cure at all for lupus. It's just a matter of treating each symptom as it arises. And again, you can go look up and read on that if you care to. So, you know, of course, when I was diagnosed with that, then the doctors were just free loving with the medications. Oh my God, you got lupus, here, have all these pills. And, you know, I'm like, okay, oh, I feel 15 again, you know. And that's what the pills did for me. I don't ever remember, you know, like you see on the intervention shows where people are nodding off and stuff. I have never ever gotten like that. So I only think in my head when I seen those shows, what the hell else are they doing? They're doing a little bit of the herd on the side or whatever. Drinking with them, you know, I don't know. Because they've never done that to me. They give me just loads of energy. I feel literally like I am 15 years old again with a 15-year-old body that can jump over the freaking moon, right? So when Bug was born, I didn't want to be on the pain pills anymore. It had gotten to the point where I was taking more than my allotted dosage for the month. And by this time, the whole epidemic had crept up, and so my doctors are looking at me like, you know, what do you take 380 10-milligram hydrocodones a month already. Why do you need more? Well, the truth is they just weren't working anymore. I'd been taking them for so long that they just didn't work anymore. So about, you know, 2 or 3 months, or 2 or 3 weeks into my month of pills, I would start fretting. I would see where it was in the jar, you know, and I would start fretting over, I'm going to run out. And at the lowest point in my life, I actually started going and buying them off the streets, you know, for like the last week or so before my prescription would be filled. And that was my wake-up call. Even though I did it for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, it was still the whole time I was doing it, I felt, you know, I felt like I might as well be in a corner somewhere with a needle hanging out of my arm or something. I mean, I felt that horrible about myself. Well, when Bug came along, I knew that had to change. But what am I going to do about the pain, you know? I mean, so I thought, piss on it. I'll get used to it. I'll work through it. And I quit. I quit cold turkey. I was violently ill. I cannot tell you the agony I was in. You could take like swine flu. I've never had swine flu, but I hear it's pretty bad. You could take like swine flu and tenfold that, and that is how sick I was coming off pain pills. I had the shit so bad I couldn't get out of the bathroom. I couldn't even think about food. I mean, Oh my gosh, no way. I couldn't even think about it. I lost like 23 pounds in 2.5 weeks from just being so violently ill. And then it started to subside a little bit. And I got past it. Hardest thing I've ever done, even 4 children, completely natural childbirth. I never had any kind of pain medications, no epidurals, nothing that people have these days. The women that, you know, they can sure get themselves pregnant, but they'll pump their body full of drugs to push the baby out, and I'm not really hip on that. But anyways, they didn't really have that back when I was having kids, or maybe I would have been. Who knows, you know? Maybe I would have been, so I ain't judging nobody. Anyways, so I wanted off the pills. I got off of them myself, and that was a cycle that I went through for about 1.5 years. I would stay off of them for a couple months, and then the pain issues just got so... It's not that I was in so much pain, and I will tell anybody out there that takes medications, pain pills, the medication makes you believe that you need it more than you actually do. Because I have full-blown lupus. I mean, I've got a disease that causes, you know, chaotic pain in my body. But after I was off them long enough to get past the sick, I discovered that, you know, 2 leaves would fix that pain. 2 leaves made me just fine. But the problem was I was taking 2 leaves like every 4 hours. And, you know, that's not good. But I still noticed the one main thing that I noticed was that the medications, it's not the medication that makes you believe that, obviously. It's your addiction to them and your mind's want, you know, your mind's need for them makes you believe that you simply could not get through the day without them. If you're taking them for legitimate pain reasons and not just, you know, to be a doper, you know what I'm talking about. You feel like, you know, I don't want to be on these pills anymore, but what the hell else am I going to do? Well, it's all in your head. Because once you get off of them and your body's clean, the pain isn't nearly as bad as you perceived that it would be without them. And anybody out there that went or is thinking about going through this, or that is going through this, would not believe this in a million years. But I'm here to tell you, I was on them for almost 20 years, and I will tell you that if you can get a hold of a doctor that will prescribe you Suboxone, they will help you get over being sick. And the pain is not as bad as the drugs are making you think that it is. It's just your way of working around taking as much as you do. Anyways, so after about 1.5 years of doing the up and down yo-yo of, you know, I'd quit, I'd put myself through hell quitting, and that would last, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and then I'd go back on pills because with me, I had legitimate pain issues, and I was taking like 20 leave a day, and I started having flank pain, which is the upper back, in the middle of your upper back, and that is indicative of, you know, kidney and internal problems, and the lupus eventually will already cause those problems. And so, you know, I'm going to my doctors thinking, what is this flank pain? Am I dying? And no, it was because I was pumping my kidney full of leaves, and it was failing me because it couldn't process it. So the last time I ended up in the ER, that was 7 months ago, almost to the day. 7 months ago on the 17th of this month. I ended up in the ER. My legs were swollen up like this. I was lethargic. My husband finally took me up there. And once again, it was because of the amount of over-the-counter pain medication that I was taking had almost completely shut down my kidneys. I was in renal failure. And the doctor finally pulled me aside. Actually, it wasn't the doctor. It was the phlebotomist, the gal that came in and took my blood. And she was real quiet about it, like it was a secret or something. But she said, you need to go see this doctor. His name is Dr. Bleep Bleep. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to put him on blast. But, you know, and you need to go see him because there's a drug out there that you can take that it's good for pain relief, but it will keep you off. It was made by... Bottom line is, this drug was made by our government to combat drug abuse, opiate abuse. It is the medical... It's kind of like a sister of... what is that drug they give junkies? methadone. It's like a sister of methadone, but it doesn't have, it's not the methadone properties in it. I don't think, at least. But the doctors that prescribe these have to be specially licensed. They're not everywhere, and it's not cheap. It's almost $1,000 a month for my prescription. Now, I've been taking it for 7 months, and I've gotten myself down to 2 a day instead of 3, which my doctors are just amazed at, but I'm kind of a tough broad like that. I don't want to be on these either, but for right now, you know, they help with my pain immensely. And these have a small to moderate amount of codone or whatever it is. The drug that's in them is called, I'm not sure, it's buprenorphine or naloxone. But what these do is they distribute a very small amount of the drug, the narcotic, into your system, but you put them under your tongue. And I'm going to open one and show you so you'll see. You put them under your tongue and dissolve them. Now, I'm down to taking a half in the morning, yeah, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. But you put these things under your tongue until they're completely dissolved. And what that does is it basically acts like you're injecting it almost, because that big old purple nasty vein under your tongue, it absorbs directly into that vein. So while if this was in a pill that you just swallowed, you wouldn't even get the effects of it because there's so little in it. But because you put it under your tongue and it absorbs into your blood system through that vein, I get the pain relief. I don't get sick from not being on pills. This drug was created by our government to get people off of pain pills. Now, why they make it so expensive, I don't know. I guess they figure, well, if you can afford the pills, you can afford these. Well, no, because people that are out there farming pills know that it's usually almost not even money that you know, I've known it. I've known the whole ropes, and personally, I bought mine with cash, but I know a lot of people that didn't. So we won't go there because it's a sad, sad thing. That is there it is. There it is. That is called a sublingual film. You can't even see it when it's to its side. Supposedly it tastes like Tang, and I'll put my shirt up so you can get kind of an idea of, you know, what size it is. Just a little bitty film. Supposedly it tastes like Tang, but I think it tastes like a bear come and pooped in my mouth and left laughing. That's what I think. I hate the taste of these things. But these things here have allowed me to get off of pain pills while still having pain relief that is completely controllable. It's not nearly the numbness that you're going to feel when you're on pills, obviously, but, you know, do you want to feel like that your whole life? I know I didn't. And you need to ask your doctor. For anybody out there that takes pain medications and don't want to anymore and feels like you don't have a choice, you need to ask your doctor about this medication, or just get into your computer and Google SUBOXONE doctors in your area. And there's a database on the web that will actually pull up any doctors in your area that have the special license it takes to prescribe these. They are ridiculously expensive. If you're taking them for drug rehab, Medicaid will pay for $90 a month for 6 months, and then they kick you down to $60 a month for 2 years, and then they knock you off after 2 years, and you'll never be able to get it, and you'll never be able to get any pain medications on Medicaid again. Now, I don't know, and I only know that because I've got a friend that takes them that's on Medicaid, but any other insurances, I have no idea how it works. On mine, I can take them for as long as I need them. I just don't want to take them anymore because they taste so horrible. But I wanted to show you guys something very, very, very personal about me. Probably the lowest point in my life was the couple years that I knew I had a problem with pain pills and felt like I couldn't do anything about it. And this medication here has gave me my life back. I no longer take 30 hydrocodone, 10 milligram hydrocodones a day. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, no way, there ain't nobody. Yeah, I did. And anybody that does take pills knows that that is completely viable. I'd wake up in the morning and take 5 milligram oxycodone, not cottons. I've never had oxycontins. I've never taken those. But oxycodone is a different drug, and I've taken plenty of that. But anybody out there that takes pills knows that after taking it for so long, you can get up to where you're taking so much, it's a surprise your kidney is even processing it, because it's just insane how much you can actually work yourself up to. And after 20 years, you can imagine. So this drug here has gave me my life back. It has gave me my freedom back. It has taken that monkey that is sat on my back for, 16 years, although I didn't look at it that way up until until my grandson was born. I didn't consider it that until I quit that time and was so sick, and then constantly was in a constant state of, of mental unease over the pills. That drug, the SUBOXONE, will take that away. It will completely remove that mental fight that you have about taking them. I mean, you got to want to stop, obviously. It's not a miracle drug. It's not going to all of a sudden make you not want to take pills anymore, because for those of you out there, and I know what I'm talking about when I say this, because I've got plenty of friends that go through this. For me, I was fortunate enough that I didn't have the mental mindset that, well, I'm not going to feel 15 years old again, because these SUBOXONE, they do make me feel better, and that's all I care about. I'm not 15 years old. I don't want to feel like I'm 15 years old again, unless it's natural. So the name of the drug is called SUBOXONE, and the very small amount of narcotic that is in it will keep you from getting sick, and it will give you the pain relief that you might be taking them for. If you're not taking them for pain relief, it'll just keep you from getting sick. You won't be getting sick at all. But you have to take them as prescribed, because if you get addicted to these, the come down is even worse than pills. So you want to, anybody that's going to go in and ask their doctor for this medication, obviously, because of the price of it alone, you're going to want to take it like you're supposed to. You don't want to abuse it or anything like that. But I'm missing something really important that you guys should know, since I'm telling you about this anyway. There's a drug in this called naloxone, and it counteracts the narcotic, so that even though your body is getting the narcotic, you're not going to feel it. It's like, it's kind of like how if you're taking antibiotics, and then antibiotics and birth control. If you take antibiotics while you're on birth control, it will wipe out the birth control for the period that you're on antibiotics. The birth control won't work. Well, that's what the drugs in here do. One of them delivers the narcotic to you. The other one completely erases that feeling that you're going to get. So while your body is getting the pain relief from the narcotic, you're not going to be feeling it like you would with pills. You don't feel any kind of buzz, no kind of nothing. Now, I know people that say they do, but they're not. The drug is made to not do that. What they're feeling is just the elation from being out of pain is what they're feeling. They're feeling a natural high from not being in pain all day. So that is my ascent rather than descent, because descent would have been into pain pill use. Ascent was getting out of them because of this wonderful drug here. The government made it and put it out there. Why they made it so damn expensive? So that the normal man or woman can't afford it. It's cheaper to stay on pills. But, you gotta want what you gotta want. And I wanted off of them for my grandson. And, for my kids too. My husband, me. But it was my grandson and getting custody of him that was my driving force. And if there's anybody out there that wants to get the hell off pain pills, ask your doctor, or if you don't want to ask your doctor about that, look it up online. There's all kinds of, there's a database online where you can put in your location and SUBOXONE doctors, and it will bring up a whole list of anybody in your area. Be prepared to spend a little bit of money. Save up the monies that you're spending on pills, because it's going to cost you. But I will say, they have made a generic that is like a third the price. But until there's another, let me grab it. There's another drug out that, there's another company. Now, SUBOXONE has been out for about 7 years from what I can understand. There's another company that put out a thing called Zubsolve. And these are the exact same thing, but they're in little minty tablets that you put under your tongue, and they dissolve immediately. They're the exact same thing as the Suboxone. Again, this is called Zubsolve. But again, you have to have the same kind of doctor to get it. But this is cheaper than the Nalox or than the Suboxone, I believe. But anyways, my point is that they have actually come out with a generic. But until these two drugs here, these two drug manufacturers, stop fighting over prices, because they're in a war. These are two completely different manufacturers, and they're in a war over basically price gouging, like you know, like convenience stores and gas stations do with gas prices. They have to stay somewhat around each other. Well, this generic one has been made and it's on the market. Well, it's not on the market, but it's there on the cusp of getting released. But because of these two assholes here, it's not been released yet. So, but it's supposed to be. My doctor told me it's supposed to be released within the next, 6 months or so, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. I can buy more makeup. So anyways, I thought that I would tell you guys all this. I am into 25 minutes. Lovely. I love you all. I hope that it's helped. That is my talk into my world of drug abuse, I guess. I never saw it that way, but it was. I feel like it was doctor abuse too, because they're the ones that prescribed it to me all those years, when 8 years ago they could have just given me this or sent me to a doctor that would have given me this, and I could have got off the pills altogether, and my kidneys and liver would have that much more life left on them, as opposed to whatever they have left now, taking 10,000 milligrams of acetaminophen a day that comes in the pills that I was taking. So, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off about that. But I thought that might help somebody out there. I know this isn't beauty related, but when you get right down to the core of it, this medication has made me feel so much better about myself and about my life and how I'm living it, that I feel prettier, and I feel more beautiful, and life is better. So for all of you out there that might stumble on this, because I'm going to put a couple tag words in there so that, anybody that's looking, I know there was a time where I got on YouTube and looking for ways to just quit, some advice, something, because I wanted off of that constant monkey on my back every minute and every day. It was always a grinding force in the back of my mind. Am I going to have enough pills? I'm getting low in my bottle. Where am I going to get more? And I would start thinking of who I could call, who I could go to. And man, it's a I'm telling you, it's like nothing. It's hard to explain to have that kind of a monkey on your back. So I hope this helps. And anybody out there that is on pills and wants off of them, Suboxone. Put that in your, and I'll name it down below. And I'll put a link like to WebMD so you can go read up on it and check up on it if you want, and see if it might be something you might be interested in to get yourself off pain pills. I love you all. My next video is going to be either my perfume collection, because I had somebody actually say, yeah, we want to see it. So maybe I'll do my perfume collection. And I've actually got some tutorials, but I just haven't put them up because there's so freaking many of them. Okay. I love you all. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, share my videos if you want to win. Love you. Mwah.